I genuinely love my alone time. I love being alone. I love sitting down and imagining just sipping manchas on the beachfront and just generally being alone. You know what I'm saying? I have my own time to myself to think about this, think about that. But no matter how much I try being alone, there's this one person I somehow can't manage to get rid of. And obviously that's my shadow, right? And it follows me every single where I go. And the thing is, your shadow always comes, your shadow always is present wherever there's light, right? There's this statement that goes, nothing can stay hidden under the sun. So if you study physics, then you know your shadow is formed due to the presence of light. But the question I have for you guys today is, does your shadow disappear when there's no light, or does it engulf the entire room in the absence of light? So basically today we'll be talking about our shadow self. Now, what is our shadow self, right? Our shadow selves is the versions of us, or the parts of us which we were made to feel ashamed of. We were made to fear, we were made to, keep hidden, push it aside, just cover it up. Parts of us which we were told were bad, we were told we're not good enough. Parts of ourselves we had to tell ourselves that, okay, these versions of ourselves is not nice, it's not appreciated, it's not preferred. Parts of ourselves which we somehow dislike, beliefs from childhood, repressed emotions, insecurities, and all the rest. This is basically our shadow selves. And the thing with our shadow selves, it doesn't come up in a manner which it's easily seen, right? You can only see it through those tiny little bits of cracks, and this could be through emotional reactions. This could be emotional triggers. Someone says something and all of a sudden you just, you start yelling, you start behaving a certain way. It could come up in forms of our jealousy, our envy. It could come up in forms of our overthinking, our people pleasing, self-sabotaging habits, our avoidance habits, and in so many different ways. It could just pop up. And our shadow selves can be created by so many ways. Past experiences, past childhood experiences. Our childhood holds a large portion of who we are and who we have become. So basically, as a kid, you were, not giving that much attention, not giving that much love. It could also stem from our experiences, present day, or something that happened 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Okay, cultural and family expectations, right? As a kid, we were told, be strong, boys don't cry, girls don't do like this, girls don't sit like that. Don't be like this, don't be too stubborn, don't be angry, don't show this part of yourself, this habit isn't nice. So with time you just learn, okay, there's good, there's bad, and obviously this portion of myself, the bad portion, I have to keep hidden, I have to keep covered, I have to push it aside, and this could be quite messy. Okay, unmet emotional needs. You weren't loved enough, you weren't seen enough, you weren't appreciated enough. And the way in which our shadow self can somehow affect our day-to-day activities and pop up in our daily activities is, again, I said it, emotional triggers, right? I am not going to lie, there was an experience which I had a few years back, and basically someone said something. I think I had an encounter with family, and they said something, right? And all of a sudden I started feeling really, really hurt and really, really pained. I remember crying. I think I was 12, 13, 14. I remember crying for an hour straight in the toilet. I just kept on crying and crying and crying. And the question was I crying because of what they said, or was I crying because of every single thing that I just managed to bottle up to the surface? Was I crying because not only did I get affected by what they said, but I got affected by what it opened up and what it literally had to bring to the surface. So this could literally come up as emotional triggers. Someone says something, all of a sudden you're shouting, you're yelling, you're irritated, you're annoyed. You don't know why, but then, hold up. Oh shit, my shadow self is coming to the surface. My shadow self is becoming present, it's coming alive. As we met it could pop up in a form of overthinking and insecurity. All of a sudden you feel small, you feel less, or you're stuck in your head thinking, constantly racing. And when this pops up, you'll be like, oh shit. Sabotage, you don't feel like good things need to happen to you. You constantly find reasons why this shouldn't happen. It could also come in the form of projection. Okay, projection in the sense that you may somehow find yourself projecting those self-limiting beliefs, those insecurities, those past pains, those past angers, those past everything on other people. One thing is unhealthy patterns constantly repeating themselves. You find yourself in constant loops, constant cycles of the same error, the same mistake. You just doing the same things over and over again. Okay, and reasons why, right? And reasons why it's extremely necessary to heal your shadow self is, first off, it has an immense impact on how you see yourself, how you feel, your general self-worth as a being, and who you are as a person. So that's very important. Second, it creates this certain level of inner peace, right? I will quote this as an example of someone saying tiny little statement, right? Even if it was meant to annoy you, irritate you, all of a sudden you feel so emotional about it. But then when you manage to work on your shadow self, things that people used to say which you get all up in your feelings about, you just look at it and you're like, oh, like you just like, okay. You know what I'm saying? You don't take things personally. It doesn't irritate. It helps with emotional stability. It helps you to be able to be more emotionally sane, right? I've always said this. I used to be so emotionally chaotic. My emotions were everywhere. I used to be so reactive. And what this does is just, it helps you be a little bit more emotional stable, a little bit more grounded. And when you're more emotionally stable and grounded, it leads to better decision making, considering how to, maneuver your way through the situations, through relationships, through encounters, through all of that. It says one little slang, all of a sudden you're reactive, you're angry, you're annoyed, right? But then when you work on your shadow self and you're more emotionally stable, you're more secure, you find more peace within yourself. What happens is, if they meant to get under your skin, even if they meant to irritate you, even if they meant to annoy you, you no longer take it personally. It's like you're doing that based off of what you feel and not based off of how you or how I feel, if that makes sense, right? You now see from a point of I'm not gonna get irritated, I'm not gonna get annoyed by that, God bless you. You now see from a point of, you know what, nah. So what this does is it actually strengthens your relationships, because most of the times, again, the person I said, right, might have said something intentionally, unintentionally, and obviously if they said it unintentionally with no intent of affecting you or irritating you, all of a sudden you're angry, all of a sudden you're irritated, all of a sudden you're annoyed for absolutely no reason. So you see where the shadow self comes in, you see how it plays like an immense role when it comes to relationships. It's like you easily get offended by things that were never even meant to offend you. Someone says something just out of a sudden and you're like, so that helps strengthening our relationships and just generally making it better. And last but not least, it helps with obviously finding your identity as a person. So I've spoken about all of those. I've spoken about your shadow self. Now let's talk about healing your shadow self, because obviously that's the essence of it. Is first, I want you to become a little bit more self-aware, right? I want you to become a little bit more observant of yourself, a little bit more conscious of yourself. Now this will obviously take time. It's not something that is done immediately or instantly. It's something that will generally take time, right? Second is, I want you to be able to observe and know your triggers and your traumas, right? So all of a sudden I'm feeling insecure, I'm overthinking. Why do I feel insecure? Why am I overthinking? So you trace it back to the cause, the root cause, why you're feeling like this. I'm feeling jealous. Why do I feel jealous? Why do I feel small? Why am I, you root it back. I'm feeling angry. Why do I feel angry? Why do I feel annoyed? Why do I feel injured? You push it back, you pull it back, you come back. Number 3 is to work on your inner child. I think when I have time, I'll actually create like an in-depth video. Next up, you have start journaling. I've spoken about the effects of journaling, and the benefits of journaling is, I want you to find a piece of paper. Okay, I wouldn't suggest a journal, because whenever I write in my journals, I always write in a way in which if someone picked it up, right, and read it, most likely they won't understand fully. So I always try to write in very debunked, in a very private manner. So if someone read it, then I have no problem. Unless you keep it properly and it has a padlock, then you can write whatever you want. But whenever I want to write about my emotions or how I feel with zero filter, I find a piece of paper, I write it down on it, and then I burn it or I tear it and then trash it away. So that's what I do, and this helps immensely. So what journaling helps you with is, you write down why you feel like this, how you felt, what caused you to feel like this, and with time you get to know yourself more, and you obviously get to see that version of you. Again, journaling with an essence of not lying to the book, not lying to yourself, just writing things down. So journaling helps immensely over time. Next up is, I want you to be able to accept the parts of you which you somehow feel like you need to push away. I want you to be able to accept your angers, your fears, your insecurities, your pain. That's why you feel irritated. I want you to accept every single part of you. There's no part of you need to be ashamed of. The beliefs that were somehow ingrained as a kid. You don't cry, you don't have to feel like this, you don't have to react. Fuck it. You want to get angry, you want to yell, you want to shout, do it. Okay? But you have to stop at a certain point and come back and observe it. So that's very necessary. Next up is I want you to let go of old patterns, old behaviors, those old loops, old cycles, old actions you used to get stuck in. You need to get rid of it. And last but not least, I want you to be able to build a new identity. With a snap of a finger, you can literally imagine yourself as a completely different person, a whole different person. So a new version of yourself, I think that's very necessary. You can become whoever you want. You're no longer that version of you which feels insecure, feels angry. So building a new identity is very necessary. And you realize that when you manage to work on all of this, when you manage to work on your shadow selves, what you notice is you don't easily get triggered, you don't easily get irritated. Even if people come with an intent literally making you lose it and flip out, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Just like, So you actually tend to be a little bit more, no longer take things too hard, like it doesn't affect you that much. You feel a little bit more confident in yourself. Again, you feel a little bit more grounded, you feel a little bit more like, You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, and not the cocky, wild, I'm that shit now. You feel a little bit more like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. You understand your emotions a little bit more. You become more self-aware, you become more self-vigilant, you become more, you get to know yourself more, and I think that's very important. Just getting to know yourself more, getting to understand yourself more. You no longer seek external validation from people. You no longer expect this, you no longer want this. You're grounded, you become more grounded in yourself. You attract healthier people, healthier relationships. You feel more lighter, you don't feel heavy, you don't feel like you're carrying onto something, a little baggage, a little weight. You feel better about yourself. And last but not least is you break old patterns. Summing all of that up, from the name itself, shadow self, like just listening, shadow self sounds powerful. Like, I'm not going to lie, just believe it or not, whatever you do in the dark will come to light, right? Nothing stays hidden under the sun, nothing can stay hidden under the sun. So if you do not work on that version of yourself which you believe has to be pushed aside, has to be trashed, has to be shut at one corner and not dealt with, it will show. Once the light comes, your shadow does not leave your side, it follows you every single where you go. So yes, you do need to heal it, yes, you do need to work on it, and yes, you do need to pay attention to that version of you which you somehow feel ashamed of, you somehow feel like you need to push aside and hide, because it controls you, it follows you, and always finds a way to the surface. Right? Your shadow self isn't your enemy, it's the version of you that just needs more love, more patience, more light, and more care. It's a version of you that needs the most attention. Okay, work on your shadow self and watch you transform. This video helped. I hope I managed to touch on everything. Okay, I hope I managed to make you guys laugh maybe 1 or 2 times, but I hope this helped. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and